So this fat liberal that calls himself the Damage Report was saying that Tucker Carlson's past came back to haunt him because he said he was the member, as a joke in the yearbook, he said he was the member of some club dedicated to some guy that killed the first openly gay politician or something like that. Which, why don't I care? Because it's unimportant, the details of this. This is in college. They're saying Tucker Carlson's past comes back to haunt him. Now, he's in his 50s, I believe, Tucker Carlson is. And Tucker Carlson, I don't believe is, I believe this with Tucker Carlson. And I have nothing to prove this. I believe Tucker Carlson is an old-fashioned conservative. Okay? That's what I believe Tucker Carlson is. A genuine conservative that does actually hold certain views on race and things like that he does not say on his show because he doesn't want to get canceled. Okay, do I believe Tucker Carlson has some of those views? Yes. What I also believe is that people's opinions change over time. And this is the problem with the radical left, is the radical left does not believe, unless your opinions are changing to be more of a leftist, they don't believe your opinions can change. And I'm going to leave links in the description because I want to point out that Fox News is infotainment. It's not news. It really isn't. Unless it's local news, it's not news. And it's just as, the news aspect of Fox News is just as skewed to the left as everyone else. Okay, but the infotainment part of Fox News, which is things like Tucker Carlson, it used to be the O'Reilly whatever with Bill O'Reilly, and now you have Fox and Friends and all this crap, and it's baloney. Like, honestly, it's infotainment. It's not genuine. It's not genuine news, but what's interesting about it is that it seems to be more accurate than the actual news. That's what's scary, is when infotainment is more accurate than actual news. It's the truth, and there's a lot of opinion in there. But the fact of the matter is, even with the opinion that Fox puts into its infotainment, it is still more accurate and more objective in many ways than the way that the regular news is skewed to the left. I believe that that's true. I mean, and the thing is, I've never been left or right. Okay, even when I was, I used to consider myself a limited government conservative. My opinions and ideology changed over time. As I started to get more information, people's ideologies change. Now I would consider myself a genuine third positionist. I used to be a Rockwell style, Rockwell style, But the thing is, my opinions have changed more to that of a genuine third positionist. Probably about in my mid-20s, or maybe a little later, late 20s, is when my opinion changed to more that of a genuine third positionist. And that's why I think I've always actually had that outlook of genuine third positionism, but I think it was more like I would keep that. I thought that the third positionist attitude was something that should be kept on a societal level. It's a personal thing, whereas I used to think the limited government conservatism was the best way to govern a country. I don't think that anymore. Okay? But the thing is, because I've never been left or right, per se, not on a personal level, I've never been easily fooled by the radical left or the radical right. And the thing is, what you have to understand in the United States, there is no radical right. Okay? There is no fascist party USA. Well, there is, but I'm saying the two main parties, you have a capitalist party pretending to be a radical leftist party, okay, while they're doing the bidding of the oligarchy. And on the right, you have the oligarchy pretending to be conservative. Neither could be further from the truth. Neither is either way. But what's interesting is both the radical left and the radical right, which does not even exist, which people would claim Fox News is, are basically a complete sham. And they're a cult. Like, you will see the devotees of these two movements. There's a couple of things I've never found interesting. I don't like team sports or spectator sports. I don't believe in cults. I don't believe in organized religion. And I don't believe in fervent support of any political ideology, even my own. And the reason why is because these things... So let's see. Organized religion, team sports, spectator sports, and fervent support of political parties. Why don't I support any of that? Because the people that support these things are mind-numbed zombies. I had a lot of friends that really liked football when I was younger. And they'd be there screaming at the TV, okay? Basically having a goddamned aneurysm, yelling at their team on television. Okay? Now, mind you, these were people that were racially conscious, cheering on a team that did not look like them, did not have the values they had. The only thing that team had is they were from roughly the same geographical location as them. Okay? Now, with religion, anybody that knows anybody that believes in any religion to any extent knows how crazy people are that fervently believe in any religion. Okay? Now, that religion can be anything from born-again Christianity to Catholicism to atheism. Atheism has become a new religion. It's this black and white thinking that says, I'm right and everyone else is wrong. It's a very easy way to deal with life when you don't have the ability or the desire or the emotional fortitude to think. You embrace things like religion and politics. You fervently embrace things like religion and politics because you can say, my worldview is right and I know it because other people agree with my worldview, and therefore I surround myself with only people that believe in my worldview, therefore I'm always right. So that's how you get that with religion and politics. They inculcate themselves, whether it's Catholicism, born-again Christianity, Islam, Judaism, atheism, agnosticism, over-intellectualized. These are all cults. And what it is these people surround themselves, they inculcate themselves in their own little communities, which keeps them from thinking critically, and then they go, well, look at me, I think critically. I'm the only one thinking critically. And no. You're purposely shutting out everyone else's opinion that doesn't match yours. One of the things that I think allows me to think objectively is even if I truly disagree with somebody, I try very hard to understand where they're coming from. Okay? For a while, I didn't do that. For example, with Trump, I had to suspend disbelief. That's what they call it in vampiric ritual. Anybody that belongs to any, like the Temple of the Vampire. That's what they call it when you practice magical ritual, is the suspense of disbelief. Okay, so I had to suspend my disbelief to vote for Trump the first time, because I knew what he was about. Okay, I knew what Trump was all about. And that's why I had to do that, in order to vote for him. I thought other things, it was balancing, is he going to do this or that, and then he screwed everybody over, okay? Well, I learned my lesson. I no longer suspend my disbelief. I now have re-embraced my satanic attitude of question all things, Gotta love Ragnar Redbeard in that respect. But the fact of the matter is, and you can watch the links in the description, they're trying to make Tucker Carlson look like some kind of crazed bigot, and he might even be a crazed bigot, but that's his right as a person, is to be a crazed bigot. But he's not. I don't think he is. I think that he is a wise ass. I think he's a wise ass that likes to crack wise, and I think he's a nerd. Okay, I really do. I think he's a geek that wants to pretend to be, this Chad, this awesome Chad, as they say on the internet. But he's not. He's a dork. He's a Jesus freak dork that, that's what he is. I also do believe that he is probably, what I think should happen is him and TulsiGabbard should run on a ticket together and win the GOP nomination and the presidency quite easily against Biden or Harris in 2024. I do believe that if Carlson was in charge of the country, I think that perhaps Tulsi should probably step aside and be VP for the simple fact I don't think that Carlson... See, Carlson has attacked capitalism for its failings. He's no idiot. He is a conservative. He actually does believe in Americanism. He's attacked capitalism as much as he's attacked communism. And this is from a guy that was attacked by Antifa at his home. But I think that Carlson is very electable simply because he's very recognizable. People didn't understand this. When I saw that Trump was actually running in the Republican debates, I knew he was going to win, even if he sucked at the debates. And he did well in the debates because he debates like a Democrat by not letting his opponent get a word in edgewise. But the thing is, how did I know Trump would win? Name recognition, popularity. People know who he is. People are going to vote for the guy. Okay? If you know who somebody is, that's how Schwarzenegger won in California. Schwarzenegger certainly didn't win in California by being a Republican. He won by recognition, name recognition. So, what my point is, same thing with Caitlyn Jenner or Bruce Jenner. I have a feeling that, they're probably going to win. I have a feeling the reason why I say that is name recognition. With Curtis Sliwa, I get a little worried because he doesn't have, even though he is who he is, I get a little worried about the mayoral thing because will he win based on, now he might because the people of New York know who he is, but not people of the whole country. And, but I think that, honestly, like a Carlson presidential run, he'd win hands down because so many crazy conservatives, like psychotically crazy conservatives, love him. And I think he could convert enough of the independents over to win, especially if he had Gabbard on the ticket. Okay? That's the thing, is I really do think that those two are a match made in heaven there, or nirvana in the case of TulsiGabbard's beliefs. And I think that if they worked together, they could easily defeat, TulsiGabbard alone or Carlson alone could easily defeat Kamala Harris. If that's who's running, I don't really think Joe Biden is still going to be with it enough to be running in 2024. I don't think Trump is an issue. Okay? I don't think Trump is going to be with it enough to be running in the 2024 either. There's evidence that he had his pants on backwards, because I guess he doesn't put on his own pants. There's evidence that if you watch some of the situations Trump has been in since leaving the presidency, the guy is completely demented at this point. Same thing with Biden. Biden's a babbling, gets lost on stage, can't find which way is up or down. The guy is a babbling idiot. But he's still governing better than Trump. That's what's scary about it. But it's almost like we're a geriocracy. And I'll put a link in the description to the documentary. It was a documentary on aging. And the USSR, thanks to Joseph Stalin, put a lot of effort into curing aging. And one of the reasons they wanted to cure aging in the 80s was because what killed the USSR is, I fear, the same thing that's going to kill the United States. It became that the only people that were in power were octogenarians. And in the words of the gentleman in the documentary, when you get a room full of octogenarians together, it's not really that progressive. You're not coming out with the most progressive ideas to move the country forward when you get a bunch of old, conservative-minded people like they had in the USSR. And that's what collapsed the USSR, is it wasn't working in real time with the real challenges that were facing the real Soviet Union. So that's how that worked out. That killed the Soviet Union, because they couldn't get these people. They just, at the time, they didn't have this ability to rejuvenate not just the person, but rejuvenate the way they look at things, the way they look at the world. And that's what scares me. That's what terrifies me about my country, is that it will fall into disrepair due to the age and uselessness of the people in charge. And that does terrify me. And that's why I think that TulsiGabbard Carlson ticket would be ideal. But do check the links in the description. Check out everything I'm saying. You'll be amazed, like Fox and Friends. Or I think that's what it's called, or the Gutfield Report. And that's another thing, is like, they always try to say Fox is anti-Semitic. Fox is so pro-Israeli and so pro-Jewish that I question their loyalty to the United States more than I question their loyalty to Israel. Okay? That's the bottom line there. For God's sakes, who remembers when, now it was on the radio program, but who remembers when, what's that guy's name? Sean Hannity took a romantic helicopter ride with Benjamin Netanyahu in the Palestinian territories, and he was showing Sean how terrible these people live. Look at them, they're basically animals. That's not what he said, but I mean, what they were doing is they were using it as propaganda for Israel, for the support of Israel. I really do believe that Fox News is far more, but everybody is pro-vaccine now. So like to say that, Fox is anti-vaccine, no, that's not the case. Everybody's promoting it on Fox now, as you will see in the Gutfeld report. I'm going to stay quiet on my view regarding that because I don't want to get my video banned. And it's funny because we can't have personal opinions anymore on YouTube, or our videos get banned. It's personal opinion is now disinformation, despite the fact that we're not medical professionals, most of us on here. So somehow I'm giving disinformation by voicing my opinion. But my point is that this idea that you can just bring things up from the past, and that people's ideologies do not change with the information that they get. I'm sure Tucker Carlson, while he was in college, had a far different understanding of things based on a far more limited amount of information, a far less diverse amount of information in college. That's all for this video. Check the links in the description.